This was the safest plane ever built. In 1959, it ripped its own wings off at cruise speed. No turbulence, a warning, man's dress call. 6 months later, it happened again. Identical destruction, identical silence. 97 people dead from a failure mode so violent, no engineer on Earth had a name for it. This is the Lockheed Electra mystery, and the answer was hiding inside the engines themselves. In December 1955, Lockheed made a massive commercial wager to secure the future of civil aviation. While Boeing and Douglas developed pure jet airliners like the 707 and the DC-8, Lockheed chose a different path, the L-188 Electra. This advanced aircraft relied on 4 Allison 501 D13 turboprops, turbine engines designed to turn large propellers. When the sleek silver prototype flew on December 6, 1957, it appeared Lockheed had secured a dominant market position. The airliner offered the speed of a jet alongside the short runway flexibility of older propeller planes, housing 100 passengers in a pressurized cabin. Advertising materials confidently declared it the safest plane ever built. Yet, beneath the polished aluminum and quiet luxury of this mid-century marvel lay a hidden structural vulnerability. Within months of passenger service, this triumph of modern engineering would face an unimaginable crisis, leaving investigators to figure out how a brand new airliner could suddenly and violently snap its own wings. On September 29, 1959, Braniff Airways Flight 542 departed Houston Hobby Airport at 10:37 p.m. Scheduled to fly to New York with stops in Dallas and Washington. The aircraft was a brand new Lockheed L-188A Electra, registration N9705C, with only 132 flight hours on its airframe. Cruising in clear skies at 15,000 feet over Buffalo, Texas, the airliner suddenly vanished from radar. Ground observers reported a bright flash in the night sky, followed by a thunderous roar as debris rained down over miles of farmland. All 34 people on board died instantly. When Civil Aeronautics Board investigators analyzed the widely scattered wreckage, they identified the left-wing route as the initial area of catastrophic structural failure. The wing had cleanly separated from the fuselage in mid-air. The weather was entirely calm, and radar records confirmed there was no mid-air collision. The initial Civil Aeronautics Board inquiry ended without a single answer, leaving the entire aviation industry in absolute dread. On March 17, 1960, exactly 170 days after the disaster in Texas, Northwest Airlines Flight 710 departed Chicago Midway for a non-stop flight to Miami. The aircraft, a 6-month-old Lockheed L-188C, registered as N121US, leveled off at 18,000 feet in clear skies over southern Indiana. At 3:15 p.m., without a single radio transmission or warning to the crew, the right wing separated from the fuselage. The aircraft fell from the sky, disintegrating before impacting the ground near Cannelton and Tell City. All 63 people on board died instantly. When Civil Aeronautics Board investigators arrived at the scene, they found a 20-foot crater containing little more than pulverized fuselage. The right wing and 2 of the Allison engines lay scattered on the ground miles away. This was no longer an isolated incident. 2 identical mid-air breakups had occurred in less than 6 months. Yet investigators had no explanation. The Texas wreckage had left the first inquiry with too little evidence to draw a firm ruling. But this second disaster offered a map. Teams from the Civil Aeronautics Board, Lockheed, Allison, and researchers from NASA began cross-referencing the wreckage. They laid out structural blueprints, analyzed wind tunnel data, and examined the physical metal of both aircraft side by side. They focused on the wing root fractures and the attachments holding the heavy outboard engines to the nacelles. Every conventional explanation fell short. There was no extreme weather over Indiana. The pilots had made no sudden, violent maneuvers. There were no pre-existing manufacturing defects or signs of typical metal fatigue in the spars. The structure was designed to withstand forces far greater than anything encountered on these flights. No one had ever seen this failure before. The metal had torn apart in a way that defied existing engineering knowledge, leaving the investigators in a dark silence. Something was transferring immense, destructive energy directly into the wings at normal operating speed, but the physical mechanism behind it remained a complete mystery. The mystery unraveled in the wind tunnels of NASA's Langley Research Center. Researchers identified a previously unknown aeroelastic phenomenon, Whirl-Mode flutter. This was a violent, coupled instability involving the propeller, the engine mounts, and the wing itself, rather than a basic engine malfunction. Under normal conditions, rubber-bonded mounts absorb the vibrations of the massive Allison turboprops. But if a hard landing or structural wear weakened these mounts, their stiffness plummeted. When a minor disturbance, like an aerodynamic gust, hit the spinning, four-bladed propeller, the blades acted as a giant gyroscope. Instead of absorbing the impact, gyroscopic forces redirected the lateral movement into a circular path. The engine was not simply shaking, it was trying to orbit, and the wing was forced to follow. This circular wobble became self-excited. With insufficient damping, the orbital oscillation grew larger and more violent with every rotation, transferring massive, rhythmic bending and twisting forces directly into the wing's main spar. At cruise speed, aerodynamic lift acted as an amplifier, locking onto the wing's natural structural frequencies. Within seconds, the wing twisted violently back and forth beyond its design limits, sheared at the root, and tore away from the fuselage. Everything would feel entirely normal in the cabin, right up until the moment of disintegration. At cruise speed, the propulsion system transformed from a source of thrust into an engine of self-destruction. The catastrophic breakup took only seconds, leaving passengers and crew with zero warning. There was no radio transmission, no desperate call for help. The absolute silence from the cockpit is the ultimate proof of how fast the catastrophe unfolded. There was no time to diagnose the problem because the problem was the structure itself. The plane literally shook itself to death, claiming 97 lives in a heartbeat. Lockheed launched the Lockheed Electra action program to salvage what remained of their reputation. Engineers designed stiffer, heavily damped engine mounts and completely redesigned the outboard nacelles. They added thick metal doubler plates and extra structural ribs to reinforce the wings, physically breaking the deadly coupling between engine motion and wing response. Every existing aircraft in the global fleet underwent this extensive retrofit. Flight tests proved the modifications worked, and the Federal Aviation Administration approved the design. The modified airframes could now operate safely, but this late engineering fix offered no happy ending. The Federal Aviation Administration and Lockheed received little praise for resolving a hazard they should have anticipated. Public confidence had completely evaporated. Passengers actively avoided the turboprop, and cash-strapped airlines cancelled their outstanding orders. Between 1957 and 1961, Lockheed built only 170 civilian Electras before shutting down the assembly line. As the aviation industry rapidly transitioned to pure jet passenger airliners, Lockheed halted commercial production forever. The rugged, reinforced structure eventually found a durable military role. It became the foundation for the P-3 Orion, a maritime patrol aircraft that would fly submarine hunting missions for decades. But for Lockheed's civil aviation dreams, the damage was absolute. The Electra was Lockheed's bet against the jet age, and it lost. Today, aviation safety is defined by the unseen. The Electra proved that engineering's greatest threat is what we don't know exists. We fly safely now because we learn to look for dangers we cannot see. Subscribe for more untold history.